There are buildings that hold time, every stone saturated with the weight of centuries. Within the hallowed walls of Europe's greatest cathedrals, the story of faith is told in light and shadow, in stained glass and sculpted saints. But if you linger in these quiet spaces and let your gaze drift upward to the dark corners where light does not quite reach, you may find something else entirely. There, half hidden in carved ivy, a face peers back. A human face, and yet not human at all. Its mouth spills forth a riot of vegetation, tendrils and vines curling around cheeks and brow in a silent, ceaseless exhalation of the green world. This is not a saint, nor a demon from Scripture. This is the Green Man, the Watcher in the Stone, an enigma who has been staring down at humanity for centuries. You've seen him before, on pub signs, gateposts, in old woodwork. He is the great contradiction. How did this wild pagan spirit find a home in the heart of Christianity? Was he a captive god, or a secret acknowledgement of older magic the new religion could not erase? This is his story. If you're fascinated by ancient mysteries and forgotten symbols, you're in the right place. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest enigmas. To find the Green Man's origins, we must search for a ghost. He has no name in the ancient world, no unified cult, no lost gospel. What we're searching for is an impulse, a recurring dream that haunted artists across Europe, the compulsive need to fuse the human face with the untamed world of vegetation. Our journey begins with the Celts of Iron Age Europe, who inhabited a profoundly alive world where every river had a spirit and every forest was a sacred temple. For them, the boundary between our world and the other world was thin and porous. Their art reflects this fluid reality, an art of constant transformation. In the intricate metalwork of the Latin culture, flourishing 400 years before Christ, we see the first stirrings. On bronze shields from the Thames, spirals that seem like vine tendrils resolve into human eyebrows. On golden torques, stylized leaves become locks of hair, faces dissolving into nature's chaotic beauty. For the Celts, the human head was the seat of the soul. To fuse it with plants was a profound spiritual statement. Humanity was not nature's master, but one thread in its vast tapestry, a world where a face could be a forest, a man could be a leaf. As Celtic power waned, Rome's rigid order spread across their lands. Yet even in this structured classical world, the leafy face survived. In Roman ruins from Italy to Britain, we find leaf masks, decorative faces used on buildings and fountains. The most stunning example emerged from a farmer's plow in Suffolk, England, the Mindenhall treasure, a 4th century Roman silver hoard. At its center, a god's face with hair and beard of seaweed-like fronds, likely Oceanus, the sea god, his elemental power expressed by the very substance of his being, proof that even Rome's greatest artists were compelled by this ancient image.
The world that rose from Rome's ashes was built on Christianity. Europe became Christendom, defined by cross and cathedral. The old gods were banished, wild places seen as territories of temptation and evil spirits. Yet it was in this hostile world that the Green Man truly flourished. Beginning around the 11th and 12th centuries, a strange spring bloomed in sacred stone. An outbreak of wildness in the most ordered places, a silent leafy invasion. From French cathedrals to German abbeys to English parish churches, stonemasons carved his face by the hundreds, then thousands, until virtually every grand church had its own Green Man peering from forgotten corners. He hides in the highest, darkest sanctuary parts, grinning from vaulted ceilings as roof bosses, the keystones holding structures together. He appears on column capitals, bearing the weight of sacred arches. In illuminated manuscripts where monks copied God's word, his face sprouts from decorative vines curling around holy text. Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland contains over 100 green men, each unique, a testament to artisan obsession with this single powerful image. But these weren't all the same face. Scholars categorize thousands of carvings into 3 distinct types. The foliated head, the face almost entirely consumed by leaves, human features barely distinguishable from dense oak, hawthorn, or ivy foliage. You're not looking at a man, but at the forest itself, momentarily taking human form to gaze back. The disgorging head, the most iconic form. From a clearly human mouth, vegetation torrents forth, sometimes delicate new leaves, sometimes thick, twisted branches. Nature's voice made literal. He's not consumed by nature, he is the source. His breath is the breath that brings forth the green world. The bloodsucker head, the nightmare variant. Vines burst from every orifice, eyes, nostrils, ears, consuming the face entirely. Expressions often agonized, as if overwhelmed, eaten alive from within by relentless parasitic nature. A dark reminder that the natural world that gives life also feeds on death. But what did this pagan-seeming face mean to medieval Christians? What was this wild spirit doing in God's house? The pagan survival theory, championed by folklorist Lady Julia Raglan, this view sees the green man as an ancient fertility icon, a ghost of old ways hiding in plain sight, a quiet rebellion carved in stone. The church may have tolerated his presence to absorb and neutralize old beliefs, allowing people to see their forest spirits acknowledged even if confined to the new faith's margins. The Christian resurrection theory, an equally compelling interpretation. A popular medieval legend tells of Adam's deathbed, when his son Seth received a seed from Eden's tree of knowledge. Placed in Adam's mouth at death, a great tree grew, the tree that would become Christ's cross. For medieval parishioners, those disgorging heads became powerful reminders of this story. The green man as allegory, life springing from death, salvation growing from the first man's mouth. A profound Christian symbol of eternal life. So which is it? The truth may be both. Great symbols hold multiple meanings simultaneously. For stonemasons with pagan ancestors, carving him was ancestral remembrance. For commissioning priests, a visual sermon aid. For common folk, a powerful bridge connecting new faith with old natural rhythms, winter's death and spring's green resurrection. He was the mystery in the corner of the eye, belonging to both worlds. In that profound ambiguity, he found power to endure.
While stone green men watched silently, another kind lived, breathed, and danced in medieval lanes and market squares. For common folk governed by seasons, not theology, the green spirit was tangible, immediate power that had to be welcomed and embodied. In Tudor England's great pageants, a strange figure cleared processions. The woodwoose, the wild man of the woods, covered head to toe in leaves, moss, and fur, carrying a great club, a creature of chaos representing the untamed world beyond city walls. And here in 16th century records, we find the first written use of a familiar name for these leaf-clad performers, the Green Men. The name's first historical appearance, not for carvings, but for living, breathing men transformed by leaf costumes. As centuries turned, this spirit found new form. Imagine 18th century London on May 1st. Through crowds comes a bizarre sight, a great conical tower of leaves, a walking bush of ivy and hawthorn, garlanded with ribbons, moving through streets. This is Jack in the Green. Hidden inside the wicker framework is a man, usually a chimney sweep, celebrating his guild's spring holiday,
who has shed human identity to become summer spirit itself. Not just wearing a costume, he's a temporary vessel for timeless power. At day's end, the leafy cage was ceremonially disassembled, greenery distributed for luck, releasing summer spirit back into the world. This impulse wasn't confined to Britain. In Balkan villages of Croatia and Slovenia, spring's arrival is still celebrated on St. George's Day, April 23rd. But another older figure walks beside the Christian saint, Zeleni Juraj, Green George. A young man covered entirely in fresh branches is led through villages, blessing fields and livestock, promising abundant seasons. This is beautiful syncretism, Christian festival grafted onto far older pagan roots. Folklorists are certain Green George is the old Slavic fertility god Gavrilo, returning from the underworld after winter sleep. Legend says when Gavrilo returned each spring, wherever his wet feet passed, he left green traces. Leaves sprouted, flowers bloomed, the world turned green. That's the Green Man in purest form, the divine footfall awakening sleeping earth. For centuries, the Green Man lived fractured. Silent church face, raucous street dancer, wildwood phantom. Parallel streams through European landscape, their common source buried and forgotten. But the 19th century brought profound change. As industry dawned with factory roar, city smoke, and machine logic, powerful nostalgia arose for the lost world, a romantic rebellion against progress's gray tide. Desperate yearning for a past more magical, authentic, deeply connected to Earth. This romanticism sparked renewed interest in the Middle Ages. Architects and scholars saw the Gothic era not as dark, but golden. In old cathedral carvings, they rediscovered the Green Man, an emblem of lost worlds, handcrafted natural design in mass production's age. During the mid-1800s Gothic revival, foliate heads bloomed again on neo-Gothic churches, grand buildings, Victorian town halls. Westminster Palace architects included them, nodding to the nation's deep, wild roots. But he remained a ghost, a beautiful motif without name or unified story. Just a foliate head, a leaf mask, a question awaiting answer. That answer came in 1939, on the eve of World War. Not from medieval manuscripts, but from folklorist Lady Julia Ragland's pen. Studying church carvings in Monmouth, struck by the same mystery that puzzled many before, Ragland looked beyond church walls. She examined Jack and the Green traditions, Tudor pageant records, centuries-old pub names. In profound insight, she made the connection that changed everything. These weren't separate phenomena. They were scattered fragments of one continuous ancient tradition, last remnants of pre-Christian pagan cult worship of a single fertility and rebirth figure. Church carving, festival character, and pub sign were one being. Borrowing the festival performer's name, she christened him. For the first time, the silent ancient stone face received the name we know today, the Green Man. Her 1939 article was lightning. Though criticized for lacking concrete historical proof, her theory was too powerful, too romantic, too resonant to ignore. It captured popular imagination entirely. 1,000 disconnected, mysterious carvings now had story, purpose, grand mythology. No longer strange decoration, he was a god in exile, a survivor, pagan Britain's very spirit, who weathered Christianity's coming and lived on, hiding in plain sight. Ragland hadn't invented the Green Man, but she midwifed his modern birth, and he was born into a world beginning to desperately need him.
Post-World War II decades brought new anxiety, fear of environmental destruction, growing consciousness that industrial progress poisoned land, air, and water, giving life. In this ecological awareness age, the Green Man was the perfect icon. From the 1960s onward, burgeoning counterculture eagerly adopted him. New pagan movements like Wicca and modern Druidry saw their horned god's face,
sacred male nature energy, the mother goddess's consort who dies and is reborn with seasons. Environmentalists saw the green movement's literal face, Earth Spirit's potent symbol, wild places guardian standing in silent, powerful opposition to bulldozers and factories. Naming this ghost was powerful magic. Raglan didn't just identify a pattern, she summoned a character into the modern world. Thousand scattered stone faces and dancing figures could now be seen as one coherent being with deep, ancient history, no longer just a motif, a personality. With a name, this unified figure stepped into modern imagination as fully formed character, mythic actor on contemporary culture's stage. His literary incarnation existed for centuries in the 14th century poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. On New Year's Day, at Arthur's court, a monstrous giant rides in, entirely green. Skin, hair, beard, clothes, armor, even his horse. In his hands, two great symbols of dual nature, holly branch, life's evergreen token, and battle axe, death's instrument. A walking embodiment of untamed primordial world, nature's force breaching Christian court's civilized walls. This Green Knight is the archetype's literary soul, a pagan nature spirit surviving beheading, forcing civilized men to confront wild, green, morally ambiguous power beyond firelight. Once your eyes open, you see his shadow everywhere. Robin Hood, Sherwood Forest's green-clad outlaw, not just living in forest, but embodying its wild justice spirit, wearing Lincoln green, living under the greenwood tree. In old May Day traditions, Robin and Marianne presided as May King and Queen, land fertility's human embodiment. Peter Pan, the boy who wouldn't grow up, forever clad in green leaves. His home, Neverland, wild, untamed island, pure nature unbound by linear time, eternal youth and natural vitality spirit standing in opposition to civilized world's rigid rules and inevitable decay. Modern media embraced him explicitly. The Wicker Man, 1973, the Islanders' pub named the Green Man, their brutal nature worship channeling the archetype's darker, terrifying side. Game of Thrones, ancient weirwood trees carved with watching faces, old gods' forest remnants, clear echoes of the Green Man as silent, ancient witness. Artists resurrected his face in every medium. The 12-meter Green Man sculpture in Birmingham's Custard Factory asserts urban landscape presence. Wales' Pontypool Millennium Maze, a turf maze shaped like his face, invites visitors to walk his features' pathways, integrating with his image and the land. But his most stunning modern appearance came spring 2023 on the grandest stage, watched by hundreds of millions worldwide. The official invitation to King Charles III's coronation, a ceremony steeped in 1,000 years of Christian tradition, featured intricate floral design. At the very bottom, the composition's foundation, the Green Man's face. Fashioned from oak, ivy, and hawthorn leaves, British folklore's three sacred trees. The royal household described him as ancient British folklore figure, symbolic of spring and rebirth. In that moment, transformation was complete. The pagan ghost, wild man, secret symbol had come in from the cold. No longer hiding in cathedral shadows, he was palace guest of honor, beloved unifying emblem of national folklore, testament to the wild's remarkable enduring power.
After all the centuries, all the empires and faiths risen and fallen, why does he endure? Why does this leafy face from ages past continue captivating our modern world in ever more potent guises? He is us. The Green Man isn't a story we tell, he's a story we are. a universal archetype so fundamental it resonates in our shared human experience's core. He's the world's oldest, most sacred promise's face, that after cold and dark, after winter's silence and death's seeming finality, green life will return. This truth needs no translation. It's the cycle governing all planetary life for millennia, mirrored in our own lives, our hopes for renewal, our struggles against despair. The Green Man personifies that hope. He's life force made manifest, profound recognition that we're not separate from nature's great drama, but inseparable from it. He is silent. Unlike great mythology's gods, the Green Man has no single fixed story. No ancient text tells who he is or what he demands. He's mystery, blank slate, silent mirror. In that silence lies his greatest strength, his uncanny survival ability. His ambiguity let him be pagan memory in one century, Christian resurrection symbol in the next. One generation's terrifying wild man becomes another's benevolent forest guardian. He's a vessel into which every era pours its anxieties and aspirations, not diminished by interpretations, strengthened by them. We need him now. In our age of concrete and screens, digital abstraction, profound, painful disconnection from live sources, the Green Man is powerful antidote. He's the face of everything modern alienation forgot. He is rooted, organic, ancient, wise in ways we are not. As our long war against nature's consequences become terrifyingly clear, as seasons falter and the green world feels more fragile than ever, his face reemerges as a rallying cry, symbol of what we've lost, potent emblem of desperate yearning, hope to find our way back into right relationship with Earth. No longer just folklore figure, he's become our collective survival symbol. The Green Man is not a god in distant heaven. He's presence all around us. Not a book character, but a conversation lasting thousands of years between humanity and the wild. He doesn't speak in prophecies, but in every leaf's rustle. His story isn't written in stone, but in season's unending cycle. To look for him is to see the world with new eyes, to see life's flash in deep woods, to feel Earth's ancient pulse beneath our feet, and to remember that the same creative, untamable, miraculous power that turns seed into forest lives in us as well. The watcher in the stone has always been there, and always will be, waiting in the gathering dark for any who choose to remember and to listen. If this journey through ancient mysteries fascinated you, show your support by hitting that like button. Drop a comment below. Have you ever noticed the Green Man hiding in churches or old buildings? What does this ancient symbol mean to you? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives. More mysteries await. Until next time, keep looking for the faces in the stone.